is some people will say to me, but Nabeel, the Trinity is not present in the Old Testament. This is something new that Christians came up with. I'll end by saying this. In the Shema, this is the statement that Jews would often recite twice a day. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Okay, very profound proclamation. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. In a world of polytheism, it's very profound. But that word one, Echad, is not used to describe a singularity. It's used to describe something like a cluster of grapes. You would refer to the entire cluster as one cluster. That's what the word echad is. So even in the Shema, we have shades of the Trinity. That word one, echad, is not used to describe a singularity. It's used to describe something like a cluster of grapes.
Complete and profound falsehood. It simply is not true. The word one is a numerical adjective which can modify any noun you like to think of. In itself, it has no concept of more than one. One pencil, one chair, one Abraham, one thing, and you could go on for the rest of your life giving examples, because one can modify, it's an adjective, it can modify any noun you like to think of, and it means one single, just exactly as it does in English. To say that when you have one family, one means more than one, is a lie. It's a falsehood. To say that if you have one tripod, one means three, is a falsehood. To say that when you have a husband and wife united as one flesh, that one really means two, is a falsehood. The plurality in that phrase, one tripod, comes from the word tripod, not from the word one. The plurality in one centipede comes from the centipede, not from the word one. Is it clear? This is an elementary language issue. But until we get clear about the meaning of one and stop disturbing our beautiful English and the Hebrew language, we will not make any progress. The fact is that one simply means one single. Abraham was one person, we read. Any item in the world, the universe you like to think of, can be modified by the word one.
That word one, echad, is not used to describe a singularity. It's used to describe something like a cluster of grapes.
But it's a profoundly misleading statement to say that echad is a compound unity noun, by which you're meant to understand that God is more than one. That's simply not true. And I appeal to all English teachers, linguists, lexicographers out there to come on board and assert with me that the word echad, one in Hebrew, is in Greek, I'm using the modern Greek pronunciation, and the word one in English means one single item.
Some people will say to me, but Nabeel, the Trinity is not present in the Old Testament. This is something new that Christians came up with.
First Kings chapter 8, verse 60. so that all the peoples of the earth shall know that the Lord is God, there is no other. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God. Adonai Echad. It could have said here, 3 in 1. It could have said that we should understand God as being Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. This would have been a perfect passage, a perfect verse for the Bible to express a Christian concept of the deity. 32 verse 39. See now that I, even I am He, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Here again, a verse where God is speaking about himself. God is the subject of this verse. Nothing in the verse that speaks about a God in Christian terms. I, even I, am the Lord, and beside me there is no Savior. Again, reading this kind of passage, no indication, no clue, not even an oblique clue that we're to understand God as a Trinity.
The concept of the Trinity only came up after Christians already accepted the deity of Jesus. It was an effort, a philosophical effort to justify something they believed already, an absurdity they believed already. To believe a man is God, they had to come up with an idea of the Trinity. It wasn't that they first came up with the idea of the Trinity and then they said, oh, Jesus is the one that fits into the Trinity. Before Jesus came to the world, no one thought of the Trinity. So the Trinity is an excuse for idolatry.
Is some people will say to me, but Nabeel, the Trinity is not present in the Old Testament. This is something new that Christians came up with.